Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 503. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Hello.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 503 of the Moviecast. Wow, yeah, we're getting up there. Hey, guess what, guys? Things are starting to get a little back to normal in Hollywood. So I've seen that a lot of productions starting to start up again.
Mm-hmm.
Batman is back to recording, to
production.
Production, thank you. There's been a lot of talk about
something.
Yeah, back to let's see. There's a lot of TV show talk. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. So it's starting to get back a little bit. I gotta say, man, I've watched getting into what we've been up to. I kind of watched some older stuff. The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
One of the best. That was one of the best theme songs of any cartoon. There's tons of great cartoons, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the best, I'm saying one of the best theme songs. I really wish they make a ringtone of that. I looked at my phone. They don't make it, unfortunately, in the iPhone.
I didn't really watch the show, but I don't remember it that much, that song.
That song is awesome. When you hear it, you'll remember it. It's amazing. So I watched that, and man, I also got into Gargoyles, finally. You know, it's been in my watch list. I've seen it obviously when I was a kid, but I returned to that. What kids show starts off with a 5-part miniseries of like death and betrayal? I was like, Jesus, this is like dark. It's really dark. Mm-hmm. There's episode 6. There's like people shooting guns at the gargoyles, shooting them and trying to like mug a woman. Like it's crazy. There's a character death, like not main character, but there's somebody gets shot and killed. It's unbelievable. Stuff that wouldn't fly on TV today. But man, I've forgotten how much I love that show. I'm almost done with season 1. There's only 13 episodes in season 1. But they did a whole season 2. Season 2 is like 50 episodes. It's crazy how many episodes in season 2. And it looks like they did have like a finale for that. But they did kind of do like a 3rd season, the Goliath Chronicles, which I don't really remember. So I don't know.
It's a different team.
Yeah. So that's in the production, in the cards. But so I'm not saying that's pretty much it. Oh, but the floor is locked for that. That's a fun show. It's a fun show. What else did I see? I'm trying to watch a lot of Netflix stuff. Another episode of Community. Yes, I watched another one. So
slowly but surely making your way through. All right.
Yeah. I mean, Gargoyles is. High Score Girl. I've watched 2 more episodes of that. So I'm still in the first season, but the girl she came back from the States.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at in the show. That's pretty good. I really like that show. The nostalgia of the games.
Yeah.
Right? Told you.
Saturn, man. It's my boy.
Talking about Super Street Fighter. When he gets to Super Street Fighter, I'm like, this is amazing. They just had the Mortal Kombat episode for Midway's Mortal Kombat 1. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they're all like amazed by the motion capture effects that they had in that game. I'm like, man, this is like throwing it way back. I think there was a Bonks game in there, if I remember. Yeah. There was like, there's a lot of TurboGrafx, a lot of that, yeah. So love that. But yeah, it's been watching that stuff. I don't know of anything else really of note that I can think of at the moment. I queued up Hamilton, but I didn't get to watch it today. It's such a busy day. I've been working like back to work, so it's been nuts. So I didn't get the chance to that. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I watched. That's pretty much it for me, actually. Yeah. Mike?
Well, I continued my binging of DCU. So I think last week I said I had like a couple episodes left of Titans. So I did finish that. It finished okay. The last episode is paced a little weird and something kind of stupid happens. It seems, I don't know. The one reoccurring issue is they definitely go for twists, like logic be damned sometimes. Like things happen and you're just like, well, did that need to happen that way? Not really, but I guess it was. I guess it was exciting or somewhat surprising. But I'm looking forward to whenever they get the third one. It definitely went through that pretty quick, the 2 seasons, so I liked it enough. And then I started Doom Patrol.
Nice.
Because obviously it spins off. Although I didn't realize that they recast what's his name, Chief, because there wasn't Timothy Dalton in Titans, but it is in Doom Patrol, that one episode of Titans when he was there. So this show is I didn't realize it kind of stars Brendan Fraser. Like, he's in it a lot more than I expected, even in flashbacks, like actual him. And it's kind of from his perspective, not really, but it's mostly him, which is interesting. And I don't know anything about any of these characters except for Cyborg, who shows up in it. And it is a pretty bad look Cyborg, but I guess it's almost always practical. But it's okay. It's not gonna be as quick for me, I think, as Titans. It's not as binge worthy for me, but it's definitely a more cerebral type of show. It's more in line with Legion, I would say, than like Titans at its best remind me a little bit of Daredevil or Smallville. But this one is more kind of like Legion to me a little bit. So, and I knew the second season is relatively recently released, so I'll probably get through that too. But just a few episodes in, it's holding my interest, but not, it's not as like
binge-worthy.
Quick. Yep. It's heavy though. It's dark. Sometimes it's funny, but it's also really dark sometimes. I think even more than Titans. Other than that, that's about it.
All right, Corey.
Not much. Just going through Fringe mostly. So
that was a great show. I never finished that show, so I never watched that last season. So
it was a fairly decent ending. So
yeah, that's good to hear. I mean, Tony, anything?
Yeah, I watched through this new anime on Netflix called BNA.
Oh, they just recommended that to me.
Yeah. It's by Studio Trigger that did Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia and the animated movie Primare. I don't know how you say it.
I've seen 2 of 3 of those, and I've really enjoyed 2 of 3 of those. So
yeah,
I'm interested in this.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you take not exactly, but you have a modern world, today, and you mix in that there's like beast men or beast people where they're like they can appear as humans, but they can morph into like more like animal furry hybrids or whatever like that. And obviously allegories to like racism and stuff, because nobody likes beast men and whatever like that. So the story is about this young high school girl that wants to escape to Beast Man City or whatever the heck they call it, where it's just beasts only can live in peace and harmony or whatever like that, because she doesn't want to worry about being like ostracized or like killed and stuff like that. And she meets this like character that's a wolf, like he's a detective or whatever like that, and he's like, the whole like
Big B
lone wolf, lone wolf, big beef, like I'm like dark and mysterious and all that kind of stuff. And she's all like peppy high school girl that got thrown into a loop. But she has, because Mike mentioned Titans, you slowly find out, like, and this is like small spoiler, in like episode 2 or whatever like that she can morph into multiple animal things. So like she can have, like, she could turn into like a chameleon and camouflage, or like she can grow like wings like a bird and like fly and stuff like that. It's kind of like a Beast Boy thing. So it's about her learning how to control that kind of stuff and whatnot. It's only 12 episodes long, so it's pretty short and sweet, to the point. In fact, maybe it was almost too short, because like there's a clear halfway division point where it's like, oh, first half was like kind of like, whatever, light and heavy, like light and easy, like no episode really like flowed into the next, like it was just kind of like whatever. And the second half is all like boom, 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 boom. It's like, oh, that's a lot of exposition, and hey, we're at the end. Okay, cool.
Huh.
And they mention these things, and like literally the last 2 episodes, you're like, wait. Like that was the thing all along? Like you didn't mention this at all. Like, dude. So that's fine. It left me wanting more. So I'd definitely be interested in like a second season if it gets renewed for that, which is cool. But yeah, it was definitely worth watching. Animation is nice. Characters cool. The English dub, I watched most of it in Japanese, but the last 2 episodes I flipped to English because they use a lot of the Fire Emblem 3 Houses voice actors for it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like the woman who did Rhea, the church lady, she voices the main character, the female main character, and then the guy who does Caspar from the Black Eagles does the werewolf or the wolf guy, and he's all like, you know, grizzled and, you know, dark, like low voice, and you're just like, Caspar, that's you? Like, what the hell? Like, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guy who does Hubert, he plays another character, so it's just like, yeah, it's kind of fun, stuff like that. So I'd recommend it down the line at some point.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna finish up High Score Girl, and I'll probably move to that while watching Gargoyles is a quick watch because they're 21-minute episodes, so you can breeze through that. But man, I gotta say I did go back. I forgot I did go back and watch. I rewatch. So you know the series, I like it a lot when I have it on the TV, like The Office. I put on What We Do in the Shadows again. Like I really like that show a lot. Like I can't recommend that enough.
That vampire one.
Vampire thing, the comedy vampire thing I was talking about. Like it's such great comedy. It's from the guy who did Thor Ragnarok. It's his TV show. It's really like I've talked about it on here before.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that show is so good. Like I got Tim hooked on it too. Like I said, you got to check it out. So he watched the whole thing. He's already caught up. He binge watched the entire first 2 seasons. So it's good. It's really good. But I go back and watch that. Like it's, you know, that good to me. It's you know, that to put on the TV when you're just kind of doing some work and around the house and stuff. You put that on. It's perfect. After you've seen it the first time. So
it was Speaking of The Office, real quick, there's a guy who posted that he somebody had edited all the episodes in with the deleted scenes. So like he put all of them in so that way you could just watch them like in where they belong within the episode and everything. And it was it sounded really cool, so I was like, oh, like I'll check this out. And the site is cancer, so I was like, nope, can't do this because every time you click on an episode, it pops up with an ad, and most of them are XXX rated ads. Like what is so weird? Like what is going on? This is like supposed to be like I just want to watch The Office with these deleted scenes placed in.
Yeah. That reminded me because I actually want to watch Super. Because I never watched all of that show. Like I really get back into Super. I don't know. I got the drive. I can feel the drive.
When you said Super, I was thinking Office, Rainn Wilson. You're not talking about the movie, right?
No, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was like going to my mom like, Super? Is that a Superman show I missed or like
BBC Super? So yeah. No, he brought me up because he said like the site is cancer because like I immediately think of Kiss. You know, and it's, you know, I want to watch that, but I'm like trying to think of like, do they have like a US version that's got both? Like, is it in good versions of it now? Like, I don't know how far along they are on the US version at all.
It should be. It should be caught up. I mean, it ended like over a year ago.
Yeah, so
Funimation to have it.
Yeah, free month. Funimation.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I might binge that and watch it because I'm like, I don't know, I'm in that mode. I can feel the mode for anime. It's there. Like you get in that. You know,
Summer's a good time for anime.
Yeah,
know?
It's something click like I'm watching. Like I said, even though it's Gargoyles, it's still animated, and like I'm in that mode right now where that's where I want to watch those kind of shows.
I started making the boys watch Avatar. I'm like, all right, guys, it's time.
Yes,
it's time.
Yes, that's awesome. So, all right, let's get into the news. Let's talk about some shows starting up again. I read that Lord of the Rings and Cowboy Bebop for Amazon are starting up again production, and we just got news also that
isn't Amazon Netflix or wow.
Cowboy
Bebop?
Yeah, Netflix.
I thought Cowboy Bebop was Amazon. Am I wrong? Okay, so Lord of the Rings is Amazon, Cowboy Bebop is Netflix. Those are starting up production again, and then Amazon Studios revealed that they're working on a Fallout series. Do we have details on this? Is it live action anime? We don't really know yet.
I think it was Jonathan Nolan. Right?
Nice.
I think it's his team that was going to do it.
Okay. I'm I'm interested in this. I think that's something that would be really cool. I think
did we talk about this like a few weeks ago or something?
That's a property.
I feel like this has been mentioned before. Like, oh, it would be an interesting television show.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We talked about it in the Discord briefly.
Yeah.
Not on here. I just meant like in general. I thought we had talked about it at some point.
Maybe like video games we wish were made into something. Maybe we did that. I don't know. But this
definitely did not talk about the news.
There's so many different like things they can do with this.
Not the news, because it didn't happen. But I mean, like we predicted is what I'm saying. Like, I thought we were this should be a thing.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
But,
maybe at some point. We predicted a lot of things.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Nolan.
We've had a good track record.
Joy, who have their who are going to be doing they're the duo that did Westworld for HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they, like them doing Westworld, like gives me a little bit more confidence in the series because I know we talked about adaptations into movies, but again, going back to what we've been saying, like how I mentioned, like Harry Potter or Game of Thrones at its heyday, like it just lends itself better to like a miniseries because you just get more content, not cramming everything into like a 2.5-3 hour movie tops. And Fallout, I think they could go so many different ways with Fallout as well. Like you could do just do maybe season 1 on like just focused on a vault, like a single vault, and like people just wake their everyday life, and then you could end season 1 with
Imagine if people didn't know Fallout, like
right. That's what I'm saying. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Have that like
right. Like imagine like the first season, like somebody's just like, oh whatever.
Literally bomb drop.
Yeah, literally a bomb drop.
Yeah.
It's just like like the vault opens and you just see like the wasteland and just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
They could it's something they could do, or like maybe it's like it could just be even not like a story centric like overarching 1 or 2 character focus thing. It could just be like Tales, like a Tales of the.
It could be that. That's not a bad idea too. Yeah. Smaller contained things.
So, there's just so many cool things they could do, and like Fallout has like, in my opinion, a really awesome scenario just set up for that leads itself to like endless amounts of possibilities. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's
cool.
If it's trash, it's not going to
Yeah.
I'm curious about how they'll capture the tone of the Fallout games though, because it's always this weird sort of like it's very like sort of depressing and desolate, but at the same time it's funny.
Dark humor.
Yeah, I know.
You need that. Yeah.
I think that happens a little easier in games where like murder is kind of funny in games. Normally,
Doom Patrol. Speaking of like Doom what we talked about before, Doom Patrol's got a dark humor to it.
Yeah, I suppose.
What we do in the shadows is dark humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could work for sure. I mean, as far as like video games to TV, like you had the complete opposite reaction to Last of Us. You don't need that in a television show. Where this is like, it's like kind of a sandbox you can play in.
I think it's cool because
specific story.
the basis of Fallout, and it's like that works for a show. Like it does. Like there's such a cool idea that you can do there with just something completely your own story. But they give us a vault, they give us a nuclear explosion. We've got Fallout. No matter what the story is, you've got it.
I just hope it doesn't fall into the more realistic, like post-apocalyptic things we've seen lately, because this is kind of a more cartoonier apocalypse. Because you have all these silly mutant things and stuff.
Sure, you'll get that. I think you'll get that. That's going to be staple part. So. Other news: Donnie Yen is going to be starring in Sleeping Dogs, the movie, a video game going to a movie. Donnie Yen, awesome. So I'm psyched to see him in this, but
at the very least we'll get some good, martial arts choreography. So
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think so.
It was a pretty good game.
Yeah,
a lot of high-powered voice actors in that game too, like non-Asian voice actors.
Yeah. So, let's see. AMC theaters. I mentioned this last week. Remember on the podcast I mentioned that there's a lot of people suing other people for. Did I mention on the podcast the shutdowns and all that stuff we're dealing with? A lot of lawsuits out there. Well, hey, in New Jersey, there are pending lawsuits now from the movie theater chains to Governor Murphy for shutting them down and not letting them open. So the AMC, Regal, Cinemark have all sued New Jersey to say that, well, how are retails open and we're not? So I, for one, will not be going to the movies this year. So this is why digital streaming has been great. So I'm quite happy to pay them the $20 for the movie here.
it's super unfortunate. Like I totally get their anger and their frustration because, I mean, it's been what 5 months since they've been shut down. But hold on.
Okay.
They needed to find another way. To get it. I don't know what that is. I'm not saying it's easy, but like, look, you've had like 5 months to get something together, and either loans or ideas to like generate revenue. Do something.
My thing is this, and I've mentioned this before, and I don't want to get into the COVID stuff too much on this podcast, but I mentioned it before, like the restaurants, they want to just open and they want people in there, and I get it, but they have to. I don't know if they quite understand the fact that at least half of the population in the United States right now will not be going to the movie theaters or the restaurants. No matter what happens, they're not going.
Yeah.
So I hope they understand that no matter what happens, the business is not coming back like it was. Like that's what I don't think they get.
I don't know if I agree with that completely. We've seen when there's like a sliver of something available, people line up around the block. Well, you'd only need 50%. We've talked about this before.
I don't think you do. That's the thing. Can you operate on 50%?
I don't know.
There's a boom. There's always a boom. You're going to be jam-packed when you open, but can you operate
for like
after
a week or two? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you have to keep in mind. But speaking of movies, Hamilton, like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, came out on Disney Plus, which I really want to watch. I can't wait to watch that. Has driven Disney Plus viewership up massively. I mean, 74% over the weekend subscriptions. I think there was somebody, an analyst that was talking about this when it launched, saying that Hamilton needed to be on the service when it launched. And I remember that way back when. And I think this proves it. It's one of those like attractions. It's a major something that you can see, and major movie, whatever you want to call it. It's a play, but it's impressive to see those numbers. Like the hunger's out there to give people content safely. Mm-hmm. I think safely. I think it's great to see it in your house. And so, like, I'm psyched for Mandalorian season 2 in October. Like, I can't wait for that stuff. Like, I understand they have to film this stuff, and it's not safe that way right now. But I am more apt to, obviously, I'll pay them more here at home to watch this content. Disney Plus aside is what I'm saying. I would pay the money to go see this movie at my house, essentially. Like I have done a couple times with the movies that are on demand, like the cinema in your home kind of things they do. So I'm such my brother raves about this movie like nonstop. Tim raves about this movie. Like he constantly listens to the soundtrack, says it's amazing. He went to Broadway to see it. So I'm psyched to see this movie. So
yeah, I think
I'm happy
it's a huge hit on Broadway, and it's not necessarily it's not necessarily like a movie of the show. It's like more like the Broadway show.
It's the Broadway
video.
show. Yeah,
I just
2016.
It really rounds out the library a bit because it's not really like anything else that's on Disney Plus. It's not Star Wars, Marvel, or like classical Disney. This is a whole different sort of fan base.
Unique experience.
Yeah. And it's big, so it definitely would help it because it needs something kind of different and more right now.
Yeah, it stands out, for sure. And I mean, on social media, like the buzz was crazy. I was just like, what? Like, okay, like didn't expect that. But yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, like, again, I'm not saying AMC or these other movie companies or movie theater companies were capable of that, but like, this is what you got to do to like, you got to stay agile and be like, hey, what can we do to drum up interest in our service, because it's going to be a while till movies are coming out and we can even record shows and whatnot. It's like, hey, we have this, let's release that. So again, just doing something. Like imagine, especially these older like theater companies like AMC or Regal or whatever. Like, why don't they have like a publishing company, right, for movies, where like they pick up like obviously nothing like huge blockbuster stuff, but like indie type movies, like film festival stuff, where like, we talk about exclusives on the game side all the time, but why aren't there things like that for movie theaters?
Yeah.
I think they all should, convert to drive-in to show some old movies too. Old movies.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I might go this weekend to the drive-in near me. So.
Yeah, there's not enough of them around here. So, but I think there might be at least a few opening from this, and I hope they stay open after this because there's still that attraction. There always was.
For a couple of years, I think we'll see popularity drive its comeback.
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth is starring in the biopic for Hulk Hogan.
This is another casting that sounds like a 12-year-old came up with it, but okay.
He's planning on bulking up more than ever. So bigger than Thor. I've been hearing about this from a bunch of people. He's like putting on massive amount of weight and bulking up
Hulk
like crazy.
Hogan like that ripped?
He wasn't ripped. He was
No,
not
he was-
he was muscular, but like he was
He's
like
just big.
it was more like a power like a wrestler. Like,
wrestler,
it was
He's just
yeah.
a
Well,
big guy.
there's
Yeah, he's
also
just a big guy.
several versions of Hulk Hogan because
But
there's
he was never like jacked.
during post steroids. He was at certain points, but
Man, the 26-inch pythons, man.
Yeah.
26-inch pythons.
he's big.
He had
The
big
thing is-
arms, yeah, but he was, I don't know, he was always like a bodybuilder type of guy to me, like not bodybuilder, but like just like a wrestler build. He never really,
Like a functional wrestler.
A
yeah.
he wasn't like big
he's a
Papa
big
Popo,
bodybuilder,
whatever
not
was
like-
that guy's name.
right, not like a showman body.
He's
Right,
not a
right.
ripped guy, but he was big. His arms were always big. He was a very big.
Lift
Guy.
Andre the Giant. I mean, that's no small
Yeah,
feat.
he was
He
able to
had-
lift.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
Big
he
guy.
also has a rather unique physique in that he's barrel chested, and like in
Yeah,
a
he
weird
always-
way. Like he has a weird sort. It's hard. They talk about it a lot because as
It
a
reminds me
wrestler,
of
half of it
remember-
is what you look like.
Hulk Hogan's body was more like Batman the Animated Series always. Do you remember those? That's what his
Yeah,
body was.
kinda.
There was nothing ripped, but it was always like that. Yeah, he had the chest, but he had no abs, but he had big arms. Like that's
He
that
didn't get
animation.
abs, obviously. It was not a six pack.
No.
He wasn't lean.
I-
he wasn't lean.
No.
Except for occasionally in WCW post steroids, he had a different body for a little bit.
Still the same kind of posture, I guess. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of like biopics, though, Zach Levi is going to be playing Kurt Warner.
Is that how you pronounce it? Is it biopic?
It's a-
biopic.
I thought it was biopic always, but I've recently heard so many people refer to it as a biopic.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like-
just like look at it and it looks weird.
I know, me too. But I've heard it so much that I'm like, maybe that's.
I guess I just put
only
like biography and pick together.
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
I
But like it's one of the things that's like too obvious, right?
I always used to say bio.
Oh no, Google says biopic. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was corrected. I think it was like but I understand because I used to do it all the time until I was listening to podcasts and multiple podcasts I listened to have said it biopic.
Biopic.
And I'm like, okay. So
It just feels
because,
so
like,
weird to say.
Well, do you say
just
bio?
stopped myself
Like when
saying
you like, because like when you like looking at like you create a character or something, like you don't you say bio, right? Like
Right.
this is a bio, and then
Yeah.
the picture. Pick.
Biopic.
Well, you're saying it like biopic, like it's an adjective.
yes.
Like it sounds like an adjective to something.
Right.
No, but I can understand why people would say it that way. I just
Like,
I always have before.
it's interesting.
Let's see. Lastly on the news, we got Colin Kaepernick has partnered with Disney to produce multiple exclusive docuseries produced by ESPN Films, also other media as well, which they haven't said yet. So he's got something going. Colin Kaepernick, good for him. Right?
Yeah, he definitely is getting out there.
Yeah. I mean,
Taking
He's always in the
advantage.
front of the news. Hey, if you're in the news, it doesn't matter. You're
Well, I mean,
you're worthy
no,
of something.
the thing is, Colin, I don't know anything about his
He's
football
not a good
career.
quarterback.
Like, right,
He's not a good quarterback.
Well,
That's
he was a
fine.
fine quarterback.
He
Jim.
was.
fine. He was definitely he deserved to be on a team.
He could be either way. He should be a backup someplace. There's no question in my mind about
I
that.
still think he's a top 30 quarterback, like in the top 30 for sure. It's fine.
Regardless of his professional career, I'm just saying he was a forefront runner of like this whole like the Black Lives Matter movement, and nobody hardly anybody especially the NFL didn't support him at all in terms of it was just like shut up black man, start playing football, and now it's like
It's still to this day people are
now
still
right.
people are today talking about him taking a knee, and I'm like, I think we have good reason now. You can see why he was doing that. But
Right.
anyways, go on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now it's just now, especially because the last 4 years have been flipped upside down by a lot of politics. But it's just it seems so tone deaf when NFL, the organization is like, oh, we support Black Lives Matter and we stand in in unison with the protesters and stuff. I'm like, really?
All these
this is
corporations
you?
do
He
that,
was-
Tony.
he was-
Come on. It's
He was
like-
clearly blacklisted. You know that. We all know that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like the thing is with all these companies, they're all going to take whatever side is winning. It's like whatever is going to make them the most money.
I understand. It makes business sense, but that clearly to me as a person, I'm just like, fuck you. Like, fuck off, NFL. Like, you had
No,
your
I mean, not just. I
opportunity.
mean, the thing is not just NFL though. It's like a lot of the people
what do you
in
expect them to do though? They can't.
Not say
public
anything.
too. Like at the
No,
time,
that's not allowed. That everyone has
They
to
didn't
make
say
this
anything
statement.
last time. That's what I'm saying.
Know, but that's the thing. Like you have to do better. So I mean, you can't
No,
just be like,
I
if you do
understand.
something bad before, you can't just like be like, well, I guess I can't do anything ever again. Like,
Oh,
you
no,
gotta
I
be
would,
better.
I would just like, you know what, we were wrong with the way we treated Colin. But no, I can't do that.
Yeah, well, I hate the NFL anyway, but I do think
it's
they
funny
gotta,
because
they gotta
speaking of this stuff,
get on the right side of it eventually.
Right.
Guy who was talking about the Black Lives Matter, and he was an African American man, and he was saying he loves when people flip the script on stuff. He's like, I want to see all these fake posers come out and do this. So now I know who they are, because but plus like the more people that do support it, even if they start being hypocritical and are fake about it, even if they are supporting, like what he was saying was like it's better for more people to talk about it, to be aware of it, to have it be out there, because I'd rather have them be fake and talk about it than not talk about it at all.
No, I agree. Like obviously, as human beings who are capable of learning and growing from mistakes and stuff like that. I'm not saying a person or an organization can't be like, yeah, you know what, we were on the wrong side of history. It's time for us to change. But it was just it's just the way it happened in what, like 4 years, was it? Since it's like they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're on the side of this now. I'm just like, you gotta like at least be like, yeah, you know what, maybe the last time we handled this was in poor taste, so it's time. We learned a lot.
I think they did say something along those lines. I think Goodell said something like, we did not get this right or something.
I just remember seeing.
I feel like he said that about a lot of things in the last few years, but whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to like.
That's okay. No, I mean it's good for him.
I mean it's
what's
going on in the world right now.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just saying I'd like to see Colin being rewarded in some way because
Disney deal,
failed him.
He's getting paid.
That's
getting paid. He got a deal with Nike. Like he's definitely getting out there.
Oh yeah, that's right. That Nike deal too.
He's getting getting stuff forward, and he get tryouts now.
It's just that rough 4 years when you go from 28 to 32. It's a rough time there.
Man, I know.
All right. I think that's going to wrap up the Moviecast. That's all the news we got. So thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the like button. We appreciate it. See you guys next week. Thanks.